So here I have my PWA studio setup. It's connected to this particular store M24.2, which is my local store. I have followed instructions given on this particular developer documentation to set this up. Now I'm going to start editing, trying making changes to this particular application. I'm just gonna follow the tutorials given here. I'm going to use PHP Storm to go through all of this code. I've gone through the directory structure, and the directory structure is also documented at this link, explore the files. So let's start with add a static route. Okay, Adobe Commerce and Magento open sources built-in CMS system and page builder features let you create highly customized content pages for your storefront, but sometimes you need a page that fulfills a specific function such as a checkout or a login page. Okay, so now let's understand the purpose of doing this, adding a static route. So when we create a new page in Magento, for example a category page or a completely new URL page, for example let's say my custom form, right? We do this, we are using the layout system. We create a layout controller and uh, of course the blocks. Now since this is a headless application, the rendering responsibility comes to the front end application, which is the routing, uh, the URL and the rendering is decided in this particular project, PWA. And what we will do is we will use only the APIs of the backend. We may write REST APIs, or we may create GraphQL APIs for this, but the front end part is going to be handled in the PWA, and that's why we are following this tutorial, add a static route. This tutorial provides steps for creating a custom static route for these types of functional pages. By the end of this tutorial, you will know how to define a custom React component to render route content. Okay, use the extensibility framework to tap into Vinia UI's routes target. Okay, add a new static route to the routes list which renders the custom React component. Add a new static route to the routes which renders the custom React component. Okay, for more information on routing, see routing. Okay, we'll look at it later. Now we already have src directory here. In that we are going to create a components directory, okay, which will hold our custom components. So let's do that. Greeting page, so we will start with hello world. So let's create a directory component, and then let's create component directory. Okay, define a custom React component. Every route needs a component to render the content. Okay, for this tutorial you will define a component that renders a simple greeting page. This component will be assigned a route in later step. Okay, so let's do that. Greeting page, new directory, greeting page, and create greeting page.js module. Okay, the convention here seems this G capital and then this greeting page. Okay, fine. The naming convention, let's see how it turns out. New JavaScript file, greeting page.js, and now here file with the following content. Okay, I'm going to hand type as much as I can so that I start building a memory. Import React from React. Okay, import React from React. import use params from React router DOM. Okay, import use params from React router DOM. Okay, now I'm going to declare an object hi with text align and margin properties. Const hi equals text align center and margin of 1 rem. 1 rem. Okay, now we are going to say wave. Okay, another property const wave. Now we are going to destructure high in this, and we are going to say font size is 5 rem. Font size is 5 rem. I don't know why we are doing this, but let's see how this goes. Now this is a simple React function component. Let's do this. Const greeting page is a function which will return following. Okay, let's see, this will return div, and inside div there is an h2, and I think then there is a paragraph. Let's see, is it? No, two h1s. Fine, h1. Okay, hello who. Okay, all right. Okay, so use params is a hook. What I understand from a little bit of React that I know, I I don't know much about hooks. Const. Okay, so let's do this. Const, this is destructured who is equal to use params. Okay, and the default property will be nobody. Now here we'll say hello. Is that correct? Okay, who. I definitely need to brush up my React skills. And style is equal to wave. Okay, style is equal to wave. First high, and here style is equal to wave, and this will be a Unicode which I'll just copy. Okay, now let's export this. Export greeting page, export default, I think. Okay, now what do I understand from? So one thing that does bug me a little bit is, the file name is G small and this is G capital, but we'll just see how if this is a consistent pattern. This seems like a very simple React component that in general we create even in React tutorials. Okay, The component uses a URL parameter to render personal greeting on a page. Okay. Create index.js inside the inside the greetings page component directory. Create an index.js file that exports the greeting page component. This pattern of exposing module through index.js file is same pattern used in Vinia UI package. Um, we can do this. I don't want to do this yet. Uh, we will just go ahead and let's see what happens. What I want to do is, instead of index, I know this is a convention, so we'll do this later, but right now I'm just gonna skip this part because I want to see if I make a mistake without this part. Slight change in what is happening. Okay, create an interceptor file where, okay, so tap into extensibility framework. In version 7.0.0, PWA Studio introduced its framework for extending storefront functionality. One such extension point gives you ability to edit the list of routes without copying over the routes component and its parents in the render tree. Okay, I don't understand what this means. One such extension point gives you ability to edit the list of routes without copying over the routes component and its parents in render tree. So the keywords that are tipping me off are why would I need to copy all the routes why would I need to copy the routes component, and what is this and its parents in render tree. So we will see that later. We'll try to not use extensibility framework and see what happens later. Okay, so create an intercept file. An intercept file is where your storefront or plugin interacts with the extensibility framework. Okay, an intercept file is where your storefront or plugin interacts with extensibility framework. There is no strict rule on where to create this file or what to name it. For this tutorial, create a file under src targets directory. Okay, so let's create a target, new directory targets, and inside that we will have a JavaScript file named local intercept.js. Local intercept.js. I don't need this extension. Now inside src targets local intercept.js file, write the following content. Okay, export, okay, module dot exports, okay, this will take one argument, which is targets. I think this function is called by the main Magento extensibility framework. Let's see. It passes targets as an argument, then targets of we are targeting this Magento. Okay, I'll just hand type this at Magento Vinia UI. So targets of Magento Vinia UI. Okay, dot routes. Okay, dot routes dot tap. I think so. One of the key things that I pay attention to is the names of functions and how they make sense in English language. So we know what routes mean, what we know what targets of. I think the readability is very important. Targets of Magento Vinia UI. Okay. So this interceptor is a target of Magento Vinia UI dot routes. Okay, it's target of Magento slash Vinia hyphen UI, and then we are tapping into routes. So maybe that's why the method name is tap. Tap gives us routes. Uh, routes. Tap takes a callback function. Routes dot push. Okay, routes dot push. This seems like an object. Okay, routes dot push. Name my greeting route. Name of the route is my greeting route. Then pattern. Okay, route pattern is greeting slash greeting, maybe, slash greeting slash who, because we are taking one parameter. Okay, I think this was name of the route. Pattern slash greeting slash who, and then question mark. I don't know what that means. Why question mark? Because it's optional, I guess. Well, I'm guessing that because question mark in regular expression generally means uh, whatever precedes question mark is optional. And then path. Let's see what path means. I'm going to remove these quotes just so that all keys are consistent. They look consistent. Okay. Path. Now I think this require.resolve. Okay, components greeting page.js. Okay, components greeting page dot js, and then just return the modified routes. Return routes. Now I think this is very interesting, this particular line number 6, path require.resolve. This interests me because we could have required this module on line number 1 here. We could have just said that component, no, but this is path. Okay, no, alright. It doesn't take component as an argument, it takes path to that component as an argument. I'm not sure why that is, but I'm guessing it's probably because you don't want to load that component unless you hit that route. So we will see that later when we get into how this really works, this whole thing, routes and targets off, and how this works. For now we're good here. Okay, now the code in this file accesses the routes target of Magento Vinia UI and adds a new entry to the list. It adds a new route definition object that specifies the pattern for a new route and which page component renders that route. Okay. Register the intercept file. Add the path to your intercept file in PWA studio.targets.intercept section of your project's package.json. Okay. Let's open package.json and dev dependencies, PWA studio intercept local intercept.js. Should I edit this file? Maybe not. Let's see, local intercept. I have a local intercept, right? I think I had a file named local intercept.js. No, we don't. So we'll just say src. No, 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 no. There's already a file called local intercept.js here. It doesn't seem to do anything at all. So, but let's not. Um, let's actually, you know what? Edit this targets. Okay. I don't need .js and in targets. Yeah. So now view route content. Start your dev server using yarn start or yarn develop and navigate to greeting world. Okay. All right, that sounds simple. Um, so should I say what's my route? Greeting page, local intercept. Okay, greeting slash world. Greeting slash Abhishek. Oops, that didn't work. So, do I have to stop my dev environment? Probably. I don't know what happened, but let's say yarn watch. No, this broke. Okay. Cannot find module components greeting page.js. Okay. Require.resolve. What did I do wrong? So targets. Okay. This local intercept is here, so I went one directory up, then components. Okay, that's correct. Then greeting page. Okay, this is wrong. Refactor, I made a typo here in directory name. It's not greeting, it's grinting. It was grinting. Refactor. Okay, now that seems correct. Yarn watch. Okay. Okay, let it build. Okay, that sounds right. That did not work. Why did it not work? I don't know. Do I have to clear cache? Or is the pattern wrong? Okay, I made a mistake again here. Okay, so I just changed that file. Do I have to do yarn start? I guess. I don't know when that file is called. Is it only called like local intercept is called? Is it called when building, or it's like a component? So I don't know if hot reload works for that particular file. I don't know what these warnings are. You have enabled JIT engine, which is currently in preview. Um, JIT engine, no idea. Okay, that sounds completed. There are no errors. Oh, and this worked. Wow. All right. So I can extend that React component and create more uh, complex pages, I can create form components and other stuff. But we have essentially added a route. Now, in next session, let's modify the site footer.